Welcome to the open book. Y'all, we are excited to be in day 6 of our 12 days of books and businesses event. I'm Lakeisha Mabry. I am the host and founder of the open book. And tonight we have some special guests. Now, I do want to say one of my special guests is a close friend as well. And so I am so excited to have both of my special guests tonight. Our first special guest, we have Rebecca Townsend and Derek Townsend, and they're going to talk to us all things home ownership, okay, with Townsend Realty Group. And then our second guest is Miss Zandra Webb, and she has also an exciting business that she's going to discuss, but she has a book out called When the Heart Cries. And y'all, just to kind of, and I'll give you a little background when I get to Miss Webb about how we met, because it's amazing how one thing you think you're going to talk to someone about turns into something totally different. But we've had a week break and I am refreshed. I am excited, y'all. I don't know if it's because I have a 2-week break coming up. I've been counting down the days. Rebecca's shaking her head, but I've been counting down the days. We have a 2-week vacation coming up, and I am so excited. I had a week last week for our Thanksgiving break, and so today we're picking up with day 6 of our event. Our first guest tonight will be Rebecca and Derek Townsend, and they are from Townsend Realty Group. Now, Rebecca and I told you guys earlier, a close friend of mine, we actually met at work. And so in our first time of meeting, we were talking about that time, my husband and I, we were looking for a house, a bigger, because we needed more space. If anything, that pandemic showed us that we needed more space, okay? From that 2-bedroom apartment, 2 kids and 2 adults. We needed more space. And so when I met Rebecca, we started talking, and then it just came out that she was a realtor. And y'all, when I tell you that was a divine connection and a blessing to me and my family, I know I probably got on her nerves because even on lunch break, sometimes we're going to look at houses and so forth. She has such a sweet heart, y'all. She's not doing this. I know a lot of people, it's a very competitive business, but when I tell you, speaking from experience, she has the heart for people, and she has a heart to really help people, not just the big man and the little man, because we believe in for the big man too. But she helps everyone. And so tonight they're going to talk to us about their business, and then also some of the services that they offer, some upcoming changes. And she was giving me a little heads up on a few changes that are going to take place in the home business. So y'all will be very, very excited about this. So let's get this started because I'm so excited. How are y'all doing tonight?
Very well. Thank
Yes,
you.
we're doing amazing. And I'm waiting for that 2-week break too, but it's all things real estate on my breaks, but I still love it.
And y'all, she is so knowledgeable. When I tell you, even during work, I'll stop. And if I have a question about anything about homes and so forth, she's there to help. So she's very knowledgeable about the business. And so, Rebecca, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been doing real estate for almost 3 years now. And I really love it because I feel like it's a basic need of everybody to need shelter, whether it's lease or buy, or they even want to have their own business and investing and renting houses out. We help all kinds of people in every need that they have. And it's just a basic need with shelter. But I know Derek, he has a real good way to talk about that, because it's my favorite thing that he shared, that he made a connection with God. So I have to let him say that.
So back to Genesis. Actually, it begins with Psalm 119, 105. Our business motto, our verse that encapsulate our business is, thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. And so if you go back to Genesis, God was the first realtor. With a heavenly brokerage, he was the first realtor. The first thing he did was he separated light from darkness. Mm-hmm. And so there's the connection with light and darkness. Light in Hebrew means order. Darkness means chaos. So one of the things that we do is for the client, sometimes, as you know very well, the home buying experience can be very chaotic at times. So we bring light to that. We bring a sense of order. So there's number one. Number two is, what did God do? He created this earth. He put man in a garden and he found him a home. And so when he brought light to his situation and he found him a home. And so this is how we pattern our business after the creator of the universe. And so it is bound for success.
Yes.
We believe that.
Yes. And I know you asked a little bit about us. So we kind of just said it. We're all about God and family. We want to have a family business, and we're going to get more into that.
Right.
But just a little bit of background about me. I've also been a teacher for over 22 years, an educator, and now moving into that, being more of a realtor, which is a God-driven thing. He's in control. He's telling me how long to stay in education and when to go full-time in real estate. But even though I might not be full-time right at this moment, it's like I am, because he's always constant, like even at work, people stop me with a real estate question or something. So we're always working both things. So that's my background. Of course, married. We have 3 boys between us, 29, I believe, 25 and 22. So they're no longer home, and we've helped them with their real estate needs too.
Exactly.
So it's all good, but it's all in the family. A little bit about us. And Derek has an avionics background, which he'll talk about as well.
Yes. So I'm in the aviation business, have been now for 35 years. And so with that business, both military and commercial, you really have to pay attention to detail. I'm signing the slip that says this airplane is good to go to fly 500 people around the world. It's on me. So it's about attention to detail and doing things right the first time. Yes. And so taking that and applying that to real estate is really what it's all about, and about building a family of clients. Mm-hmm. Because once the transaction is over and the closing table, that relationship still continues on. Yes. And people come back to us because of that.
And you know what? I'm so glad that y'all are mentioning family, because I would say this. A lot of people, basically, when we think about home ownership, and depending on people's situations, can be a huge thing, and sometimes can almost be frightening. Okay. And the reality of it is, we have to do what is best for our families. Everyone's path is not the same. Some people may have millions of dollars and they can just go and buy, whatever home. And some people may not have that much, but there's still a path that they can take to home ownership. And I know you all are going to get into that, the different services and so forth that people just may not know about. And I'll be transparent. This is the open book, and we believe in transparency because it may be a blessing and help someone else out. During the time when we had the desire to have a home, we were not in a position where we could just say, okay, we want this house, we have X amount of dollars, let's do this tomorrow. Right around that time, the pandemic actually started. Now, we've been wanting a home, but when we actually were getting started with the process, the pandemic happened. So we kind of had like a little, we had a wait time. I'll put it like that. We had a wait time. And so we knew at the time, though, that we needed more space. Okay. If we were not in a position to build at that time, then I asked Rebecca, okay, what are some other options? Well, one option is you can have a home so that you can have the space and you can lease with a right to purchase later on. So we were like, never heard about that, because these are really nice homes. It's not just anything. And she wouldn't even allow me to just move into anything. I can't say this about her. She's not a yes woman. Okay. She would tell you and be very honest with you. And when you're in a process like that, you need someone that has your needs and what's best for your family. On top of the business side of that, really working with you. And I will say she's very transparent, very honest. And so in that, this was one step. Now we have another phase, and she's still working with us on the next phase, because we do have an ultimate desire to build this home that my husband and I have a vision and a dream to have. And so everyone's path. So if you see people that are, getting homes, we never know what their testimony is. We never know what path God took them to become homeowners. And so I'm glad that they're bringing up family, because their relationship, it really has not stopped. So tell us a little bit about Townsend Realty Group, and what are some services that you all offer?
Well, Townsend Realty Group is really founded on a spirit of excellence. We strive in, like you said, it doesn't matter whether you're looking for a $100,000 house or you're looking for $1 million mansion. Whatever your needs are, we treat you like you're the only client that we have. We answer our phone, and I know Derek's going to talk more about that. We're all wrapped about the spirit of excellence from Daniel, and I want him to expound on that a little bit, and then I'll talk more about some of the other services that we offer besides just the normal stuff.
Right. She mentioned Daniel. In the book of Daniel, it said he operated with the spirit of excellence. And what does that really mean? It means that he was not afraid to be different. He was not afraid to stand out and to hold to what he knew was right and true. And so this is what we're not swayed by, we're going to tell you the truth. The
Right.
Townsend Realty Group, whether it hurts, because we would rather have you hurt now than hurt later on. And it really, if you've been in that situation, you know what I'm talking about. But it comes down to really, it's about communication.
Yes.
And that's the core. Communication is not just talking, it's also listening, and listening to the people. When they say we have a budget, we really need a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. We're not going to send you 2-bedroom, 2-bath listings. And so we're going to listen to you. And she's Rebecca, she's phenomenal in the fact that she remembers, has a great memory in what you say and the things that you lay out in beforehand, and she'll bring things back. Remember, you said that you wanted this, and so she brings you back to I'll just say reality, because sometimes a focus, and really, and reality is that focus. And because sometimes, even in my own life, I've gone to, well, wow, that one looks really good. It's only $10,000 more. Remember, you said you had this budget. And so she brings everything back into alignment. And this is our focus, is really communication with the client every step of the way. So you are never in the dark, which ties back to what I talked about earlier. You're not in chaos. You're not in the dark. We truly take the flashlight, walk with you step by step until you find that place, this home.
Yeah, and budget is important. If you have a budget, we want to stay within it. And I promise you, God is the God of the impossible. He can find you that house of your dreams within your budget. And we, Ms. Mabry and I, Lakeisha and I, we know that because that happened with her. We looked at some houses that we were like, well, we'd be settling. But, I said, don't settle. Wait, just wait a little bit longer. It's going to happen. And they found exactly the house. So it happens. But let me tell you about a couple of other services since she asked that question. Besides the normal buy, sell, invest, we also do leases. A lot of people don't know that we can list your house for lease and actually scan the clients for you, the potential renters and things like that. That's something that I have the ability to do with Keller Williams, which is my brokered by Keller Williams. And I'm out of the Johnson County office, but I serve all over the Metroplex and even outside. I just recently sold a home in Victoria, which is 5 hours away. So we do real estate outside of the Metroplex. So if you're interested in that, don't hesitate to call me because we go all the places. But we also do things like tax valuation. So I know if you own a home, you'll know what I'm talking about. So your tax statement comes in every year and they put a value on your house. And sometimes you know for a fact that the houses around you are not even selling for that, that's where I can do what's called a comparable market analysis on your house. And I don't charge for this service. This is something that I offer and that Derek helps me with. And we offer that so that you can see what your house should be valued at, and you can present that to the tax county office. And a lot of times they will bring your taxes back down. It's not every time, but we do try to help you at least get your taxes lowered if they should be, and do what's fair for you, and work with that appraisal district.
And
and
there's no
you.
cost to
No,
that.
there's no cost.
There's no cost.
And so we do that. We also provide vendor lists, like even a group of lenders. I have one of my favorite go-to lenders, but by law, I have to give you like 3. So I'm going to give you 3. But I do have a couple in particular that I use more than anybody else. And so I refer you to lenders that will not only help you see what you qualify for, but what I love about some of the lenders I work with in particular, there's one that she is phenomenal. She's been doing this so long. She's like, she knows a lot. She's very knowledgeable, but she also will help you get your credit score up, or tell you what debt you need to pay off. Oh, you need to pay off this bill. You need to do this. And she really helps you so that you can get into the home of your dreams. So that's why that's one of the things that we do. Other vendors that we'll have access to that are reputable, people that we've used. We don't try to like use a vendor and give you a vendor list of, oh, here's a bunch of plumbers and here's a bunch of electricians. No, here is a plumber that we have used. Here is an electrician that we have used personally. So things like that. So anything, even remodeling your house, adding on to your house. I've helped people just connect with the right people. So these are things that I do free of charge. And then I want to mention also teacher programs, veteran programs. There's all kinds of programs out there with down payment assistance that you don't have to pay back if you qualify. So you definitely want to talk to us about all kinds of programs if you're interested in buying a house. So those are just some of the services. And last but not least, we both do this. We refer people to a good agent in other areas. So say, you live here and you want me to list your house, or even if you don't want me to list your house, but you just need a good agent because you're renting right now and you want to buy in California. Okay, well, I have agents in California that I'm connected with that I know are good Christian agents that will help you when you get there. And I'll connect you before you get there so that you already have a list of houses to go look at. So we do referrals as well.
It's like it's like we get them on the phone and we talk to them and kind of fill them out, interview them. Do they meet our standards before we pass them along to, because ultimately it's connected and tied back to us because we're the ones that are referring.
That's right.
So
I didn't know that. And y'all, I can say they are very diligent. If she's going to do something, she's going to do it. Okay. It's when I tell you, a great follow through, and I love this tag team. I'm glad both of y'all came on tonight. I'm loving this. But when I tell you, she's very thorough, very knowledgeable. You want someone, when you're doing something like this, okay, purchasing a home, you want someone that knowledgeable, knows what they're doing. They have patience with you, but most of all, favor with God. Okay, she has the favor of God, and also led by God. And so during times where the process gets hard, because even with this process in the home that we have now, there were times when we got very frustrated and wanted to give up. You know, when we were, you know, with each other, like frustrated. Rebecca was the one praying us through. I'm gonna pray for this, or she would come and tell me, here's a list of things for us to pray for. Okay, so it wasn't like anything was hidden. She would tell us the good and the bad. Okay, and we knew how to direct our prayers. And so another thing I wanted to ask, if someone is afraid, okay, right now they have a desire to get a home, what are some things they can think about or do in preparation for that step where they don't have to walk in fear, but this could be a blessing and they could be blessed with the desire of their heart?
So one thing is, when you want to buy a house, I would say the first thing you need to do is have a little bit of savings, because you need to be able to put down what's called earnest money on the house. So you have to have a little bit of money in your pocket to put the earnest money down, to pay for the appraisal, to make sure your house appraises for the value that you're wanting to pay, because you don't want to overpay. And that's something in this market. There are a lot of people right now that are buying things for over asking price. And we're one of the agents that will tell you, okay, you can buy over asking price in this particular neighborhood. I see that the houses are not only going for that, but they're worth that. Whereas I will also tell you, I wouldn't pay over asking price, because you're going to be upside down in this house. And see there, and I'm not saying anything bad about anybody, but there's some agents that are not as transparent, and we are very honest, because it's not about the paycheck for us. It's about being led, like you said, being led by the Spirit. If He tells us to help somebody and take on a client, we want to help them and meet their needs and what the Spirit's even telling us what they need. So it's very important to us that it's not about money, it's about the needs of the family. So that being said, a little bit of savings is always good. You want to have some savings and some reserves, but the first step is to contact a lender. And I can help with that by contacting me. I can give you some lenders' names, and they contact and see what they might be able to qualify for right now. And also the credit score that they need. And the credit score does depend upon the loan, and we can get into that a little bit if we have time. But I will tell you that it's really important to know what you can afford and only look at what's in your budget. So you don't find that dream house that is $50,000 over your budget. You're like, no, I want that house. I only show you things that are in your budget, and you're going to have a dream home within that budget. It's very
important. Funny. I'm glad that you brought that up. I wanted to share this right quick because I know that we wanted to stay in a certain area. And so we started looking at other homes like way north of Fort Worth. And Rebecca was like, okay, but didn't y'all say you wanted to look at homes in this area? Why are we looking at homes over here? So she brought us back, okay? Because sometimes we do get distracted, and you may see a house that you think is better and so forth. But, you know, at the time, what is it that you need? So any other things that you would like to add, and how may we get in contact with you all if someone is seeking a realtor?
Well, I definitely want to add about how, because I know you asked this question to me ahead of time. You said, how did you first know to get into real estate? Why did I get into real estate?
Yes.
Well, it's because I actually heard God tell me to get my license. And I thought, I'm a teacher. Why do I need to get my real estate license? And He said, because this is one of the missions that I have for you, one of your purposes. So I went ahead and got it. It took him 3 times of telling me. I think I kind of argued with him for a while, because I didn't want to do 2 jobs. I'm just being honest. But I did. The 3rd time I picked up the phone right away. When I heard that 3rd time, I knew, okay, I heard you. I got it. Called Champions at the time, was one of the best schools and still is, and got on the phone and started that very next Monday. But what I want to say with that is Derek is in the process now of getting his license. So we're going to be a husband and wife team.
And it's free too, because Keller Williams is actually offering a free real estate school, and you're not required to join up with Keller Williams. They are actually working with Kaplan University, and they're offering, and it's about $1,000 value.
Yes, you're saving $1,000. So if there's anybody out there that wants to get their license, I will also want you to call me for that, because it's really important. I can walk you through kind of what to expect, and then also connect you to a person at Keller Williams that you can get at least the schooling part for free, which is an over $1,000 value. And you, like he said, you don't have to go with Keller Williams. They don't make you go with them. And then I was going to tell you that good news you wanted me to share that not very many people know. And then I'll give you my contact information. They are changing the law January 1st of 2022. And a lot of people don't know this yet, to where you no longer have to wait until the next year to file for a homestead exemption and save money on your taxes. So what that means is, let me just give you an example. let's say you're building a house right now and it's going to be ready in February of 2022. Normally, you would have had to wait till the following January to get that tax savings for the homestead exemption. Now you can file for it on the day of purchase. So it's saving you a lot of money on taxes. So definitely want to take advantage of that. The other thing is conventional loans, the maximum value just went up to $647,000. So conventional loans are the most economical as far as interest rate. They're not the most economical with down payment. So if your down payment is a little light and you need a little help in that area, and you're not a teacher or a firefighter or someone that we can get you some down payment assistance, low income, we can also get you down payment assistance. But if you're not one of those and you have to go FHA, which is a lower amount down, or even VA or USDA, which is 0% down, the loan value is a little lower. But I just want to tell everybody that 647 is amazing because you get your interest rate at the lowest possible, and you can qualify for a lot more now. So just a really exciting time. And to contact us, you can contact us at the phone number that Miss Mabry is going to put on the screen, Lakeisha, and also my email, which is just my first and last name, Rebecca Townsend @kw.com. And I'm happy to help anybody who wants to start their business, anybody who wants to buy or sell a house, obviously, and any of those other services. We are willing to talk to you and help hold your hand through the process.
Thank you so much, y'all. When I tell you she's not just our realtor, but also she makes working so much more easier. We have fun at work. Like,
Yes,
I mean, we talk, we pray, just different things. So I appreciate for her for that. But y'all, please, if this is a desire of yours, or if you know of someone that wants to buy or sell, Townsend Realty is the company to go with. They didn't tell me to say that. We are speaking from experience with them. And we were very pleased, and we're going to continue the process because we have another phase coming up that we would like to do. So reach out to them. This is their contact information. You can always go back and look at this replay and get the information, or you can contact me and I can refer you. I have referred some people to her. She's very good about getting back with you. So just please reach out. And if you have any questions, I'm pretty sure they're happy to help you with that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank
Yes,
you so
ma'am.
much. And
Thank
yes,
you.
always answer my phone and my text messages. That's one of the rarities, but we do.
Yes, they do. Thank y'all so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna move right along this evening with day 6. If you're just joining us, we just spoke with Derek and Rebecca Townsend with Townsend Realty Group, and they were sharing with us some information about all things housing, whether you're trying to buy, lease, or sell your home. They are the ones that you want to get in contact with. Their information will be in the chat, and also you can go back and watch the replay, and their information is on the card. Our next special guest is Missandra Webb. And y'all, I was on LinkedIn, okay? I was just looking. And so I came across Miss Webb's profile, and I saw some things and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's doing a couple of things that I would love to do. And I'm just going to, I just stepped out on faith and inboxed her. She was probably wondering, who is this woman and why is she inboxing me? But hey, I'm a woman of faith. All we can do is just try. And so I inboxed her. Well, lo and behold, because I wanted her to come on and share some information about her business. She also shared with me that she had just written a new book, and she had the book signing, I think her first book signing, and she can talk about that this past Saturday. And it's called When the Heart Cries. And right now, y'all, we're in the holiday season. And sometimes that can be a very tough time for a lot of people, missing, their loved ones. I was just sharing with someone, the hard part was year 1. Seems like I was okay years 2 and 3, but year 4 was a little rough. For some reason, it was a little harder this year. But she's going to give us a little background into that book. So Missandra Webb, how are you tonight?
I am absolutely amazing. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for joining us tonight. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am an educator of 20 years, and I have worked with all different grade levels, all the way through from pre-K through high school, and even a little bit on the collegiate level. And I am the CEO, founder of Zeducation Educational Consulting, and I do that as something as a service to educators. Through my tenure of education, I've been, of course, a teacher, instructional coach, dean of instruction, principal, and administrator coach, a little bit of everything. So I'm all educator.
And Rebecca and I, we're both instructional support specialists. So you kind of know what we're going through.
Yes.
It's the time of the school year. So, okay, you're doing all of that and you had time to write a book. Okay. How did that work out? What prompted you to write your new book, When the Heart Cries?
Well, I am a part of a group called the Fearless Storytellers. And a fearless storyteller movement is it's a group of women and men now that are just not afraid to tell their story and to minister to someone. So I joined, and because I felt the need that my story needs to be told. And so the book that I wrote is part of it's an anthology. So there are other writers that are part of this book, but we are telling our stories about grief in this particular book. This is volume 2 of this book. So there is a volume 1 that came out also this year. So 2 books in 1 year. But for me, I'm a part of volume 2, and I just had the great opportunity to be able to tell my story, and which was very cleansing for me as well.
Okay, so give us a brief synopsis of what is your story? How would you can go as far as you want to with that.
Okay.
Because I tell people this is the open book and we love transparency, but it's also as far as people feel comfortable sharing.
Okay. Well, my story is about me losing both of my parents, and I lost my mother at 18, and I lost my father earlier this year. So to be at the age of 42 and have both of your parents gone is something that's difficult. So I had to deal with that. It was a different experience for both. So I believe that this book really gave me an opportunity to share my story and what I went through as a teenager all the way through this point in time in my life, my innermost feelings, and then give an opportunity to show how those things shaped me.
Yes, because I know it seems like, I lost my mom about 4 years ago, a little over 4 years ago. And it does shape you. It seems like you do turn into a different person. You have to, I heard someone today share that, her and her family, she lost her husband. They're not okay, but they've learned how to live with the pain because it seems like that's something, when you lose a parent and you lost both, that's something that is hard to get over. How long did it take you to write that? We love to ask that question here at the Open Book. How long? Because some of us, it's taking us forever to write these books.
Well, I can tell you that it's this particular process that I have an excellent publisher in going through Fearless Storytellers and Adrienne Bell, who is the CEO of Fearless Storytellers, who's my publisher, made the process very seamless for me. So this was kind of different. There is another book that I am writing to come out in 2022, and that one is taking me forever to write. And that's something I'm writing on my own. So with this, we were able to, get the information down. Now it's just so much technology. You can speak into your computer. You can speak into, to get the ideas down on paper. You don't have to sit there with a pen and paper. Some people like that, like the feel of the pen and paper, but I'm kind of a techie. So it was good to be able to speak and record this and to get it down on paper like that. That was a process that helped me speed along what I wanted to do, and then be able to get it back and edit and change and add, subtract. So that was kind of the process for this.
Okay, so when you talked about shape you, and I know we probably want to read the book to get more in depth. What would be a way that you felt that grief shaped you?
Well, it made me reflect because sometimes we get stuck in the loss of our loved ones or our parents or whoever it is. We get stuck in the loss. And so I had to really reflect on what I found and realize that, God had put them in my life and put me in their life, essentially. Um, but there was purpose in everything that was said, everything that was done, and there were seeds that were planted that I didn't understand at the time. I mean, imagine losing a parent at 18 and you're a young losing a mother and you're out there in the world. We think we're adults at 18, but we're not. We're just legal. So at that point, you're concerned because you're like, I'm going out in this world. Am I going to know what to do? You know, and the things that we saw them do, we were so, that's adult stuff. But now you're an adult and you need to actually know this adult stuff. So there were seeds being planted all along. And granted, I didn't understand a lot of things at that age, but as I became a parent of two children, I had to learn that, wow, okay, that's why she did that. That's why she told me that. That's why that seed was planted. So um, those were some great things that I would say came out of it. I got to really see the purpose in the relationship between me and my parents. And even with my father, I talk about in the book, our relationship. And there were years of strain there, but even in that, the theme of forgiveness, I grew up in the church. I have been as church can be, but I did not understand all of the concepts of God as far as forgiveness and as far as just relationship. And everything that they gave me truly shaped me into the woman that I am today.
Wow. Oh my goodness. And you touched on something that I thought about. When my mom, she passed away, she actually wrote journals. And it was almost as though she knew one day I would read those journals. I have like boxes of journals. And she even put in there about a book she wanted me to write on her behalf and the title and so forth. And so I used to struggle because I felt that my mom left at a time where I felt that it was the start of she had a desire to have grandkids for the longest. And so my son came and my mom passed away 4 days later. And I was like, man, you would have thought, she would have been here to enjoy, the moment she looked forward to. And I struggled with that. But I remember going to a conference and this lady, she had lost her mom also. And so I shared with her, the pain of that, not knowing. And she said, I want you to turn and twist your perspective on that. She said that everything your mom poured into you, the things, the wisdom, the knowledge, the love, she said, everything that she poured into you, guess what? Now, all of that you take and your son will now benefit and receive all that your mom gave to you. And it helped me because I was like, oh my gosh, my son would never get to see what great woman she was and blah, 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 blah. But no, because of me and her DNA is still in me, the things she's taught me and so forth is still in me. I can now be that and help my son and show him the different things that she showed me. And so I'm glad that you brought that up. Forgiveness and in that, you do have some unforgiveness because you're like, Mom, why did you leave now? But some things are out of our controls out. It's all in God's hands, and we have to deal with it in our own special ways. People grieve in different ways. Okay. What do you think are some signs that people could be potentially grieving?
Well, just considering how they withdraw, or it could be just looking at how they treat others or how they treat themselves, how their self-care. There's so many, there's a plethora of different things that it could be. And it really depends on too how the loss occurred. And that's one of the things too that you'll see in the different stories in the book. Some dealt with sudden death, some dealt with just someone who they, they thought, they were like, we know it's going to happen. And I will tell you, even though my mother was ill and I knew that inevitably she was going to pass at some point, you're never prepared for that. You say you're prepared for, but you're never prepared for that. And then my father, whose passing was more sudden, you're not prepared for that, of course, as well. So, looking at the signs of people grieving is more so when they get out of themselves. Just start. I say pay attention to that, especially around the holidays. It's easy to withdraw and pull back and just say, I'm going to get lost in my box. So we just want to make sure that during this time of year, especially during this time of the year, that we are doing everything we can to speak life and speak hope into those who are around us, our relatives, our friends, our colleagues, all of these people that are around us that really need that hope, that really need that love and that peace to know that they will live on, that they can press forward, that there's so much good that was already placed inside of them, that as they go forward, those things are just going to spring forth.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And during the holidays, and I think sometimes we get far away from, wanting to think about the person. I was guilty of that the first years. I thought of my mom, but I tried to not allow myself to get too far into that grieving process, if that makes sense. Because I felt like at the beginning, I had my son, so it was almost as though I did not get a chance to grieve properly because I felt like life had to continue. I had a newborn, so what can you do? You have to keep going. I have my daughter and I have a husband. And so for the longest, I tried to hold that in. But then there was a time when I went to visit her gravesite and it just came out, the feelings, I had to say it verbally and I had to break sometimes. And I know we touched on this, the theme of healing with a couple of the authors that have been on recently about feeling it. We have to allow ourselves to feel it in order to be healed. And so going through that, and during the holidays, when I started feeling the moments of sadness, it was like, it would hit me that something funny that I thought on, like, for Christmas, I think back to the times my mom and my stepfather, they didn't have a lot, but they did what they could and they wanted Christmas to be fun for us. We had a car with the window broken, and I'll never forget, took all of us to the toy store, and my mom is on one side holding a plastic up for the window, and we're driving and we're all in the back seat shivering in this car because it's cold in the car. So it made me laugh. And so during the holiday season, think of your loved ones in a funny way. What were some holiday traditions or fun, warm things? It doesn't always have to be sad. And is there a way to honor them? I know a lot of people, we even honored on our Christmas tree, we have like ornaments in honor of my mom and of my son Malachi. And so, everyone has their own different traditions. Some people don't believe in that, but if you do, if there's a special way that you can make something to honor your loved one, those are also good things to do. So anything else you want to share about When the Heart Cries?
Well, I just want everyone to go away knowing that you don't have to allow anyone to tell you how to grieve. You're going to grieve in the way that you need to grieve. No one can tell you how long to grieve, but we also want to make sure that there are some healthy things that you can do. And I think you mentioned that with just being able to remember the good times, remember finding ways to honor. For instance, my brother and I are doing my dad's annual Christmas breakfast brunch. So we said, okay, we're going to do it this year. So good luck to us. But where all our friends, our family just come and go and just have a good time on Christmas morning. But finding ways, those are things that are enjoyable to say, wow, I remember when Dad used to do this. And I remember those recipes and those those songs, or anything that's a great thing, and to hold on to those, that they're still with you, and take your time, do what you need to do to keep living, but it's as long as you keep living.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And above all, rely on God. Because when I tell you, He is the source, He is the comforter, He will comfort you during those hard times. Because we know the reality, the heart does cry. Okay. And sometimes that's hard. We don't know how to get through that. But I can say the source for me has been God. Helping me through those hard times and through the times of grief. And so, as she said, the anthology is a testimony from different women of different things that they've gone through as far as grief. And so give us a little bit of information of how can we order that book, or how can we follow you and get in contact with you? And I'll put up some information as well. Oh,
All right. Well,
there you go.
yes. You can order the book on my website at www.zandrawebb.com. You can also on the website, you can, if you're of course on my Facebook page, I post link there constantly, but there's also a link on my Facebook, my Twitter, my Instagram, my LinkedIn. So any of those sites. But if you go straight to my website, to the store, again, that's www.zandrawebb.com, you will see where you can order this book, and it'll come directly to you. And I'll even send you a message.
Thank you so much. I have thoroughly enjoyed tonight. And do any of the special guests have any final words tonight that you would like to share with the audience? Okay, I think they're great. We've had some people in the comments tonight. We want to give a shout out to our Facebook Live audience. They're watching tonight. Now, Derek, earlier you were talking about aviation. We had someone, one of my friends, he's taken a couple of flying courses. I think he wants to be a pilot, but he says he loves aviation and he cannot wait to get his license to fly. So he was talking about that.
Good for him.
Yes, so we thank you all for joining us tonight. Thank you for watching. Those of you on Instagram, YouTube, and we know that you will be watching this a little later, but we thank you all for joining us. We thank God for our special guests tonight. Thank you for coming on, and y'all go back. Let's make sure that we're buying out the books, and we are securing Rebecca or Derek, their tag team, I think. Both of them as our realtors. So contact them as well. This upcoming Saturday, we will have day 7. Y'all, we will be in day 7 of our 12 days of books and businesses with Dr. Phelps. And she's going to go more into, this was pretty much a prelude into that, go more in depth with the grief. She's a grief counselor. What are some things that we can do in the process of grieving? But I have a whole lot of questions I'm going to ask about this. So if you have questions, because we know that this is a topic during this season that a lot of people want to talk about and get some strategies and things that will help. We do want to talk about that. And then on the 17th, y'all, we have some Christmas caroling. Now, this is virtual. I wanted to go out, do a little Christmas caroling, but no, we're going to do a virtual one. I haven't done this in a long time. My kids will probably join us and do something with us, one song, and then they're going to go back into the room, quietly sit that night. But bring your eggnog. If you want to put on your pajamas, we're going to just relax and have some fun, listen to some music, and have some fun that night. So you never know who will be on. Okay, so you want to tune in on Facebook Live or watch the replay. But thank you all so much for joining us tonight, and we will see you this Saturday at 6 p.m. Have a great evening. Thank you so much.